The trend is that marketing actually has a seat at the revenue table, because with things like marketing automation, where we can impact top of the funnel leads coming in, we now have a direct lever that impacts revenue.
Coffee's for closers only.
So we've established my proposal is sound in principle. Now we're just haggling over price.
Let's see how much we're going for on eBay.
I mean, it's the same as Dunkin' Donuts. Costs 15 times the price.
Welcome to Impact Pricing, the podcast where we discuss pricing, value, and the recurring relationship between them. Wow. I was just sitting here thinking to myself, that's especially important because of the topic we're going to be talking about today and our guest. I'm Mark Stiving. Today, our guest is Natalie Louie. Here are 3 things you want to know about Natalie before we start. She was our guest on episode 9, and she is our very first repeat guest. I was so impressed with her background as we did that first podcast. I hired her as an advisor for Impact Pricing, and she's helped me develop the subscription pricing courses. Amazing. The reason I was so impressed is she was head of Oracle Marketing, Cloud Pricing Operations, a subscription-based business at Oracle, and was involved in, let's say, 40-ish acquisitions in terms of pricing aspects. Oh, one last thing about Natalie. She talks fast and brilliance flies out of her mouth. So buckle up and get ready for a fun ride. Welcome, Natalie.
Thank you, Mark. With that said, I'm going to try to talk slower so everyone can understand me.
Oh, it's so much fun to listen to you go. You recently gave a presentation at the PMM Summit.
Yes.
What did you learn? You told me about a big aha, and I just wanted to share that with the audience.
Yeah, so the Product Marketing Alliance are doing product marketing summits around the world, bringing product marketers together and talking about best practices, trends we see in the industry, topics to help up-level our teams in our careers. And they asked me to do a pricing session. And so during the pricing session, I had asked a question to the audience, about 600 product marketers here in the Bay Area. And I said, how many of you guys own pricing or touch pricing? And I thought it was going to be maybe 10, 20% of the room. I would say almost half the room actually raised their hand. And I was surprised to see how many people in product marketing are actually touching pricing, they're owning pricing, they're trying to find out more about it. Someone else commented that, if you asked that same question a few years ago, you would not have seen as many hands up. So there's definitely a trend. Pricing is starting to move under product marketing, not just product management, not just the finance team anymore.
Why do you think that is?
I think because if you look at marketing as a whole, marketing teams are also changing how they do business. There's more software out there. There's more data. There's more rigor. It's all about understanding the data and the insights to drive different decisions across the entire organization. And for the first, or not for the first time, but the trend is that marketing actually has a seat at the revenue table, because with things like marketing automation, where we can impact top of the funnel leads coming in, we now have a direct lever that impacts revenue. And the more that marketers can bring in revenue and can actually be tied to a revenue goal, the more pricing becomes a part of that conversation and value, because it's all tied together.
I find it's almost always about value. I'm going to steal you for a little mini advertisement for a second, in that at that conference, you also did a workshop where you essentially presented or delivered the Accelerate Your Subscription Business course. How was that accepted?
Yeah, it was accepted really well. It was something that the organizers asked me if I wanted to do, that there was so much interest in pricing. They did their first conference in New York. They didn't have any pricing sessions. And so when they involved me with their San Francisco conference, I said, what were the holes? I can fill in any product marketing hole you want. And they said, feedback is people want more on pricing and packaging. So that's why I offered to do the main session. And then they said that they had an opportunity to do a workshop, that they think that people would come in, sign up for, a half a day, a 3-hour workshop to really dig into pricing and packaging more. So yes, I offered to, on behalf of Impact Pricing, to go and deliver that course, and people loved it. It was a 3-hour course. We did a lot of different examples. We did an entire workshop around it, some education, and there was a lot of engagement with everybody there, talking about the pricing problems they're trying to solve. A lot of companies pivoting to subscription business, or companies trying to really grow their subscription business or solve unique problems. So that group think and collaboration, it was fun.
I just wish I could have been in the room watching you do this. That would have been a hoot.
You were present. You're there in spirit.
So the other thing you said you learned at the PMM conference is there was a lot of talk about account-based marketing, as though that's coming up big. What do you think about that?
Yes, so I'm starting to see this on the ground, just being at different companies, talking to different product marketers. There's always kind of changes, whether you have sales execution issue, whether people are changing the way they're doing business and how they're buying. And one thing that keeps coming up is account-based marketing. This idea that marketers no longer just look at leads and they look at one person. You have to look at the entire account, because if you look at your sales counterparts, they're always looking at an account. So if they go into their Salesforce or their CRM, they're always looking, how do you work an account? How do you multi-thread across different buyers that are making that decision? They say on average 10 to 15 different people are making that buying decision when a company invests in new software. And in my roles, when we've purchased software, I would say that number is spot on. You're involving people from your finance team, your CFO to approve it, your sales folks who are going to either be the users or your marketing teams. Then there's people using it, the people that need to see the insights and the reports. So a lot of people really come in and make a decision when they buy new software for any company. So it's, how do you look at them as an entire account versus one lead? Because one lead is only 1/10 or 1/15 of that entire account. And so you want to be able to have a personalized message to every single person. That's part of the decision-making process.
Let's try to understand that a little bit more for a second. Back when I was teaching with Pragmatic a lot, we would always use the phrase n equals one versus n equals many. And n equals one to us meant that a salesperson was talking to a company, and n equals many meant marketing people put together programs or initiatives so that we can go talk to a lot of different companies at the same time. Account-based marketing feels like it's n equals one activities, almost like you're part of the sales team. Is that accurate? And how do we call that marketing? Why don't we just call that sales?
Yeah, that's a nice way to frame it. And it is saying that marketing traditionally, I mean, that's what they do best, right? They're great at talking to many people at scale. And traditionally, marketing focuses, especially on the demand gen side, on MQLs, which is marketing qualified leads. So that's top of the funnel. Marketing brings marketing qualified leads through demand gen, through events. They take those leads and they hand them over to sales. And then sales then goes and says it's part of a bigger account that they're working, and they're trying to see which leads marketing is talking to. And so you're looking at many, but then you're passing one to sales, who's now looking at many, right? Or they're looking at one account. So now it's saying marketing sales need to be more aligned to say, marketing, let's look at the entire account. Let's look at the entire funnel. What are all these people within these accounts doing at the top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, or bottom of the funnel, and really go in line with sales and really focus on accounts, because all the different people in there are doing different things and have different influence on the deal.
Okay, in a lot of ways, I think this makes sense, but I still want to make sure I understand it well. So I've done my marketing job. I get a lead, Bob at IBM. That's his email address, bob@ibm.com, right? And it turns out that he's this really awesome lead. We want to go after that. It's an MQL. We drop it into the funnel. Sales looks at it, qualifies it, and says, oh my gosh, it looks like IBM's hot. They're shopping. We should do something. And now what we're saying is the marketing department should get involved to customize the messaging, to customize the approaches for all of the different personas inside IBM. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
So it's looking at all of the different personas inside the account, but also deciding if you've got, let's say, 1,000 accounts that you're working, we shouldn't be working all 1,000 accounts marketing, because traditionally that's what marketing did. They worked all of the accounts inside your CRM. Instead, it's let's figure out which are our ideal customer profiles. So if there's 1,000, let's start with just 10. Who are the 10 that we know are ideal customers that are in market right now? And let's pick up all those signals and work those accounts first and work everybody within that account. So it's this more strategic where it's not more, it's actually more quality, but less. Because if you look at what marketing did before, it was always more marketing qualified leads, do more, the more you put in through the funnel, the more that you will hopefully sell. But now more doesn't necessarily mean more deals. It's just more noise. And so now marketers are starting to focus on who are the accounts that we should cherry pick first based on ideal customer profile. And are they looking for something? And marketing is great at picking up those signals. And now let's just focus on those. So it's more quality than quantity.
Trust me, I'm still confused, Natalie. Are we talking about one customer at a time? Are we talking about 10 customers at a time?
We're talking about one company, but many people within that company at a time. So it's one company, many people.
And so why not sales? Why don't we let sales do this? Why should marketing do this?
Well, sales is already working the accounts and having those one-on-one conversations and trying to talk to them. But marketing, they're putting out the blogs, they're putting out the webinars, they're working on the website, they're doing all the different field events. They have wider reach and breadth, and they're doing all the social assets. And so marketing can actually keep an eye on what's happening at all these accounts and how people are interacting with the different digital touch points or the in-person touch points. If marketing is out there doing some kind of a breakfast or they're at a conference, they've got a booth somewhere, they're collecting those leads. They can tell when, let's say if IBM is one of our ideal customers, actually shows up at our booth at a event. Okay, that's a signal right there. They're in market. If IBM, maybe the CFO at IBM now is joining our webinar, or a user in the marketing team is actually going and reading our blog, all those different signals, we can now go and map it and tell sales, here are the different people that are interacting with the assets that we've put out there. Go talk to them. We know they're in market because this is the content they looked at. We think this is a deal that we can likely close in this quarter.
Oh, it's nice. So as marketing, you have visibility into all the touch points that people have when they come touch us as a company. And so that gives us great insight. And then the other thing that hit me as you were talking is I could write content intentionally because I think people at IBM want to hear this piece of content. Whatever IBM's strategy is or IBM's goals are. Oh, I want to write a piece of content to go address that.
Yes, and we can personalize that content. So if we know that IBM is in market and we've picked up a lot of signals, we can now personalize that content for the different people within IBM. And depending on who that persona is and at what point they're touching one of our marketing assets, we can now make sure that we're telling a story and we're personalizing all the messaging to that individual person.
Nice. And now that I'm starting to think this way, and you're causing me to think this way, I remember a company who took a billboard up outside a potential customer's office just because they wanted to win that customer. Would you consider that an example of account-based marketing?
Absolutely. So account-based marketing, and that's a great example, is making sure that based on the companies that you're going after and the actual people that are in market, you're doing online and offline tactics. And it's interesting, in a world where everything is digital, it's almost like we've over-indexed on digital, and there's so much that a lot of offline tactics are starting to work. That individual that you're trying to talk to, maybe like baseball games. So you do some kind of a gifting campaign offline and you send them tickets to a baseball game, or you're doing an event at a baseball game and you invite them to come and meet with the company. And so it's really taking that online and offline experience and personalizing and targeting it to that one person that you're trying to get the attention of. And so all of that is now fair game.
It just adds more confusion to the story, but I can see how valuable that could be. If it's a big enough, important enough client to put lots of resources behind trying to win that customer.
Yeah. And it's proven that customers and companies that actually take this account-based marketing approach are able to grow more with their enterprise customers and really increase that lifetime value.
Time out for a quick ad. If you're currently working in a subscription business, I'm guessing this is what your world feels like. Oh my gosh, the CEO just said we need to grow faster. I already have too many things to do. Now what are we adding? Which of these things should I be doing? If I only sleep 4 hours and I come in earlier, I can get more done. Well, here's my advice. You can go with the flow and do what you're told. I mean, doing busy work and doing what other people tell you to do isn't the worst job in the world. After all, I used to dig ditches for a living. Or there's a better alternative. Take responsibility. You determine what drives your product's growth. When you choose the right activities and then execute them well, it boosts your career. To help you drive your product's growth, we put together a powerful online course called Accelerate Your Subscription Business. This course provides you the framework that helps you decide which of your tasks are most important right now. Most importantly, though, it helps you think strategically about your subscription business, not just about your tactics. The course is only $500. What a tiny investment considering what this could do for your company and your career. To learn more, go to www.championsofvalue.com. I look forward to seeing you there. Yeah, the other thing that just struck me on account-based marketing then is if I'm dealing with a subscription type, I'm a subscription type company, I'm selling a subscription, and I have an account that I know should be doing 10x what they're doing with me, but they're a customer today. Now we can start using account-based marketing techniques to try to get them to grow with us.
Yes. And so now marketers, instead of just focusing on the top of the funnel, they're starting to focus on the middle of the funnel, bottom of the funnel. Because before marketing cared, okay, we got the lead, pass it over to sales, we close the customer. Now let's go find that net new lead and really just increase the win rates. Now it's focusing on how do we increase expansion revenue? How do we increase retention? And so how do marketers go and start focusing on the middle to the bottom of the funnel and start cross-selling them into more products? That's where a lot of these different tools are moving towards. And this is where marketers are trying to focus a lot of their efforts as well.
Okay, I feel like a complete idiot all of a sudden. So we we created a course, and in this course, what we said was there's three types of revenue buckets. There's acquisition, retention, and expansion. We say most companies don't pay enough attention to expansion, and I didn't tie the fact that account-based marketing is really just a great way to go get expansion from a larger group of customers instead of one customer at a time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the whole account-based marketing goes hand in hand with pricing strategy, and that's why I see a lot of product marketers now focusing on pricing, on packaging, on revenue much more, because now marketing can influence every revenue bucket where, everything we talk about in terms of pricing is we're focusing on every revenue bucket. So things are really aligning now for the first time.
Nice. So another trend that you said that you were seeing is portfolio marketing. Well, first off, what does that mean? And then we'll dig into some more about it.
Yeah, so portfolio marketing, there's a lot of overlaps here I'm seeing with account-based marketing. The idea is being more audience-centric and looking at your buyers and their needs and their preferences and being able to kind of like measure and track your personas to make sure that there are results that have good impact on the business. So the whole idea is not leading with your product and selling with your solution and the product, but focusing on your personas and the people buying it. What do they want? What do they need? And having that deep understanding and then selling to them. And so I see a lot of overlap with this idea of account-based marketing where, yes, you're focused on certain accounts, but then you're focused on who are those personas at your ideal accounts and what do they need? What do they want? What do they care about? And so kind of this whole idea of portfolio marketing and being more audience centric, has a lot of overlap with account-based marketing. So a lot of trends going into the same direction.
Yeah, that feels a lot like value selling or solution selling, where salespeople who are doing their job well aren't out pitching a product, but rather they're trying to find the problems or the pain inside a potential customer. And then they're trying to find the solution that hopefully we offer for that customer. Is portfolio marketing different than that?
Yeah, it's all the same concepts of a lot of different softwares. They solve so many problems. And you look at some of these big companies like Salesforce, Oracle, they solve so many problems. But the idea here is what does that one person care about? And let's start with that. And let's message that to say, okay, here's a problem that you're in market for, something that you're trying to solve. And it's interesting because account-based marketing does the same thing. A person may tell you this is the problem that they're trying to solve in a sales call. But then you go look and see what they're doing online, and they're coming to a piece of content on your website about a different topic. And then you go and you follow up with them on that topic, and then you can win a deal because they actually care about something else, but they didn't quite tell you. And so the idea is really getting into what does that one person care about? What do they tell you? But also, what are they not telling you? And then making sure that we're addressing that one issue versus all the issues that we can solve for them.
It almost sounds like what you're saying is let's watch the touch points. So when potential customers or buyers touch our digital marketing in whatever way they do, we're watching all those touch points. And from that, we're inferring what do they care about and what kind of solutions should we be presenting to them or what should we be talking to them about?
Yes, exactly. And when you do it this way, now it requires everybody in an organization to work together. So if you got, a solutions team or an industry team, you've got your marketing team, you've got your sales team, your product, is how do you guys all work together now? I think that's the idea of portfolio marketing, is it's not just one group or one team, is everybody working together, being on that same page to make sure that we're giving the customer what they want. It's people no longer working in a silo, but being forced to now work better as cross-functional partners.
Oh, so this is a bigger issue when we have bigger companies that have multiple products and every product manager or product marketer has their own silo, their own products they're dealing with. And now we have to somehow find ways to coordinate amongst each other.
More coordination to make sure that we give that one customer what they want. So it's more work on our side, the people that are working on the software side.
What techniques would companies have to do that? Because it feels really hard to me to coordinate.
And so there are new tools out there, a lot of different tools in the ABM, account-based marketing space, that allows people to have insights and cross-collaborate between sales and marketing, or you have like industry solution teams. A lot of people are doing, whether you call them daily stand-ups, working meetings. I've been seeing this happen a lot. The organizations that I work at is a lot of cross-functional partners meet on a daily or every other day basis. We're talking about strategies together. We're sharing ideas. We're bringing up different signals that we're capturing. So it's those daily stand-ups and using tools where all of us are in the same tool, able to see the same information, or getting the right reports to share with our cross-functional partners. So a lot of alignment.
Are these daily stand-ups 15 minutes and everybody's really standing and we get in and get out?
It's funny. Some people actually do, like they literally stand around a table and they talk about it. I've seen people talk about this across different industries. So that's, I think, where the idea came from, is people are literally standing up across a table. They're quickly going around the room, getting everybody on the same page, or it can be sitting down. It can be 10, 15, 20 minutes. It can be an hour, depending on how big your company is. I've noticed that some bigger companies will have one representative from each group meet together and they work those accounts. Where smaller companies, maybe everybody's working all the accounts. And so we as a team will meet together. Obviously, the less people that have to meet, the easier it is to do this and to just realign. And information travels so fast nowadays. You have to pivot and make such quick decisions that having those daily stand-ups, every other day, you can actually share information quickly and then action upon it right away.
Nice. I don't know if you're aware of this, but the first I ever heard of daily stand-up was in Agile or Scrum processes for product development. And I know the product marketers would get involved in those, or product owners certainly were involved in those. And I'm not sure how often product marketing gets involved in those. So you may not have seen those.
I would say in the product marketings I've been in, we've started doing that with product marketing, with sales enablement. And then what we do is we bring in people from different cross-functional groups to come into our meetings and tell us what's happening. And so the more alignment there is, we find that the better we are able to react and deliver what our customers want.
Nice. Okay, Natalie, I did not go back and re-listen to episode 9, so I don't know how you answered this question last time, but I'm going to ask it and hope you give a different answer this time.
Okay.
What's the one piece of pricing advice you would give our listeners that you think could have a big impact on their business?
The pricing advice is anyone that owns pricing or doesn't own pricing, I would take your course you've just put out on. I would go take that course, go to Champions of Value, take that course, because I believe it gives a really good framework for pricing. I've actually given, because I help you build that coursework, I've given it to my entire team and I've taught them about the fundamentals of pricing, and it's made them all better product marketers in general, because once you understand the revenue buckets, as you're making different marketing decisions or looking at different marketing tools, how that aligns to how you can help grow your business and grow profitability. So that's my piece of advice.
I did not prompt her to do that, everybody, but I'm so grateful. And Natalie, I'll send you a check.
You did not prompt me. That actually came top of mind in the moment.
So Natalie, thank you so much for your time today. If anyone wants to contact you, how can they do that?
You can contact me on LinkedIn, Natalie Louie on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to connect that way.
Okay. And we'll have the link in the show notes as well, so people can find it easily. All right. Episode 41 is all done. My favorite part of today's podcast, realizing that I'm a total idiot when I was trying to understand account-based marketing. So what was your favorite part? Please let us know in the comments or wherever you download and listen. While you're at it, would you please give us a 5-star review? We take these very seriously, would be very appreciative. If you have any questions or comments about today's podcast or pricing in general, feel free to email me, mark@impactpricing.com. Now, go make an impact.